Hi everyone, I hope this video finds you well. We're now officially moving into A3. I think we can all give ourselves a pat on the back for making it through A2, regardless of this turbulence, but we are moving on from A2 into A3. But we shouldn't forget everything that we learned with A2 because a lot of that stuff is definitely going to be making a comeback for this assignment. If you'll recall, for homework I had you compare assignments based on the assignment sheet, so you're comparing A2 and A3. This is going to pick up kind of where that discussion post and that comparison leaves off. So we're really just going to be working on, clarifying what's expected of A3, what the rhetorical situation is, what the assignment's going to look like. That's what you can expect from this video. So stay tuned until the end. And there's going to be another video you're going to watch with this that'll upload as well. But stay tuned and we'll get started. So it might help to have your discussion post in front of you where you compared A2 and A3 just to kind of compare your answers against mine. And it also might help to have the A3 assignment sheet in front of you for this video, just so you can kind of track and make some notes on it, what this assignment is going to be about. If you want to take notes for this too, it's going to be really crucial. If this is going to be a really important video as we're figuring out what's expected of A3. So let's start out with what was A2. So kind of just given the broad rhetorical situation of A2 and our purpose, we were all trying to write in one way or another to increase awareness about an issue to our audience. We were introducing our audience to an issue inside of a conversation. We were taking a stance. We argued why wind energy was superior, why one specific type of nuclear storage method is more environmentally friendly, how factory farming is harmful. We were really showing our audience how an issue is debatable by taking a side and arguing in support of that side. Our audiences were a little bit broader. There was more of a broad group of stakeholders, and we were really writing to them to just be aware of these potential these points of tension inside of these issues, and we were taking a side and supporting a specific side and showing and bringing awareness to the benefits and how that side will outweigh the others. The genre of this was a research argument, and what we're going to shift into is ultimately going to look and feel a little bit different. The research argument was written with a very academic tone and a very classic double-spaced Times New Roman format. It was a very scholarly academic genre, and we're going to see how A3 shifts that a little bit. Great, so what is A3? Very broadly, I'm just going to start talking about this a little bit more abstract. It is a proposal, but before that, let's just think about this as a very narrow version of A2. We take A2 and we kind of just put another pair of glasses on and we make everything a little bit more specific, more focalized, just kind of zooms in on what A2 kind of started. That's a way of thinking about it. So for A2, we kind of took these broader topics about wind energy and, specific methods of nuclear storage. And now we're going to zoom into those and find specific things that, we can propose to perpetuate the side that we're arguing or something along those lines. So we're going to zoom into our issue. We're going to zoom into our audience and go more towards specific stakeholders, moving towards specific people as opposed to groups. We're going to shift our purpose into something even more persuasive, almost like you're crafting a foolproof sales pitch on an episode of Shark Tank. If you don't know what Shark Tank is, it's a television show where entrepreneurs present their product to a group of investors, and they're really trying to get those investors to invest in their product, and they're getting them to buy into it. So that mindset, that kind of marketing mindset, is really helpful for writing a proposal because you're really trying to convince and persuade someone to take action. So it's a narrow version of A2 in the sense that we're taking something in our issue and we're offering a solution. This is the take action part of A2. A3 is the take action part. I said that, if you're going to include that position and if you're going to include a call for action in A2, it was going to come at the end because A3 was going to kind of pick up where that call for action left off. As far as a visual, if you're a visual learner for A3, this is the rhetorical situation, just kind of mapped out in our classic map. In our model, we've got the author in the corner here. That's us with all our values, and there's obviously always latent things that are driving our arguments. The purpose is to fix a problem, to take action. So we're trying to propose, we're trying to propose a solution to a problem. We've got to identify the problem, and we're proposing to fix it and to take action, getting specific people to take action. Our stakeholders, or our audience, is a specific stakeholder, a specific person or organization. It has to be a real person. I'm going to be saying this and reminding everyone a lot. Your stakeholder has to be an actual real person of a real organization. The context of your issue or the context of your proposal is going to be kind of whatever you're writing about. So it can be something more specific than when you wrote about for A2. I wouldn't recommend changing it too much because you'll probably have to do some more research, but A2 research is going to be really helpful because it's kind of giving you that context and that you're working inside of already. So as far as just some things to start thinking about in moving from A2 to A3, just to kind of get a little more narrow, just reflect a little bit on what is important in my issue. Who are some people involved that could be involved? What are some potential problems going on in this issue? And how might these problems be solved? So we're really looking for that problem solution dynamic. We're finding the problem and we're persuading someone to try to take action to solve that problem. So now I'm going to go through each situation or each component of the rhetorical triangle. We'll start with context. So it can be the issue that you wrote for in A2. Like I said, you've kind of done a lot of that research to familiarize yourself with that conversation and that issue going on. You can use this research you've done to establish the problem that needs to be solved for your stakeholders. So again, your problem can come from something that you've already been researching. You need to find out why one company is not implementing wind energy, and you could propose to them to implement that. That's just a very easy example or broad example. But you need to find a problem that's happening inside of your issue that's specific and real, and that your stakeholder can solve it. You might have to do more research. A really big part of this that I'm going to say again, I've already said it twice, do not propose something that has already been proposed or is currently being enacted. So you have to propose something new. So if I Google whatever it is you're proposing, I find out that it has been proposed or it's currently being proposed, it's not a new novel idea, then your grade is going to be significantly diminished. And just another note, inside the context of what you're talking about, this is more talking about the context of the proposal itself. You got to think about where a proposal is going. It's going between primary, secondary, and tertiary audiences. So someone might read it and pass it on. So that's just something to be in the know about as well. Keep that in mind. So now we're on to purpose, and this is going to be a little bit more specific than the purpose I talked about on the original model of the triangle. Our purpose is we're really trying to convince someone to make a change or persuade someone to take action. We're providing a solution to an issue, a problem, and we're really trying to convince someone in a position of power that is capable of making that change to make that change. So the persuasive and the convincing language really is going to be deployed here for a full rhetorical effect. So here I'm going to talk about audience. I'm going to briefly touch about the broad basics of audience. Audience is everything in writing, but even more so in a proposal, it gets kind of amplified. So keep this in your head, as more of a shell for this idea of audience. I'm going to release this other video about how to specifically think about audience and who we're writing to for the proposal. So watch that after this one, and it'll clarify a lot of things and fill in some gaps. But broadly, it is a real individual, someone that is in a position of power that is capable of making change. So you are writing to a real person with the hopes that they can fix this problem that you're presenting with the solution that you're presenting. Make sure that the people are real. For example, you could do a franchise owner of Chick-fil-A if you're writing about something like related to that. You could write to nutrition and wellness programs coordinators at CSU Dining Services, real people in real positions that you can write to. It's best to imagine yourself actually writing to them. If you get to the point where you want to send them your proposal, that should be a feasible goal because it can actually happen. These people are real, and you're trying to write something that can actually feasibly fix this problem. You're writing a solution. We're going to be spending a lot of time talking about genre and genre conventions of a proposal because it is a very specific genre and much different than a research paper. So there's a lot of different little nuances. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but just keep these in mind. Just keep in mind that there are very specific genre conventions. There's a background, there's always an identification of the problem, and there's always a solution. That has to be there in a proposal. You'll see some more stylistic things included. There's always a counter argument, and the style and things are just a little bit different. For our assignment, that should say 900 to 1200 words. 1220 is fine, obviously, and we need a works cited too. And we're going to maintain that formal tone that's appropriate for our audience and is convincing throughout. So to wrap up, we're going to propose a real solution to a real exigent problem to a real person capable of implementing that solution. So that person has to be in a position of power, and we're going to do this through the strict genre conventions of a proposal. So after you watch this video, please take a look at the audience video I've uploaded. You should watch that one after this one because that'll really fill in some gaps. And stay tuned to the end of that one because there will be a question on there that you'll need to answer for points on the discussion post. So keep that in mind. All right.